My name is Swift9 Graffiti, and I'm a graffiti writer straight out of Nairobi, Kenya. I was brought up in Githurai area, Route 44, one of the roughest areas in Nairobi. And growing up in this area taught me a lot of things. Back then we used to make our own toys, you know. We used to say that if you want it, you have to make it your own, you know. So we used to make our own toys and play with them. And I think my artistic influence stemmed from that point. And up to this point, I'm still involved in art heavily. Some of my friends who I grew up with, you know, playing together football, unfortunately, some of them got involved in crime, and some of them got arrested, some of them got killed. It gets to a point where you realize that if you don't move out of this neighborhood, then anything might happen to you, you know. First of all, I moved to Pipeline. Then I also moved to Jericho. It was also very tough. Actually, Jericho is one of the toughest areas also. So you realize that as a young person, living in such neighborhoods, it's just the same, you know. Eastlands has produced some of the best artists, some of the best sportsmen and women, you know, some of the best actors. But also at the same time, you find that there's a very high crime rate in this neighborhood. And some of the reasons that influence high crime rates in this area is because of poverty and lack of spaces, facilities for youths to engage and interact with each other. All I do is anything that involves graffiti or requires graffiti influence. That's my main field. And apart from that, I also paint murals. I also paint commissioned portraits. I was involved in painting on matatus a couple of years ago, but I stopped because, I mean, there was a lot of things I was involved in, so I had to narrow it down to something specific. And I chose graffiti mainly and painting murals. Art is very expensive. It's expensive in terms of materials. It's also expensive in terms of time. It's expensive because it will cost you your friends, it will cost you your family, it will cost you your sleep. But also at the same time, it will cost you money. You will go broke as an artist. A lot of my friends have been in the same situation as I've been. I've been broke most of my life. My art life, I've been broke. Even buying all these spray paints, I never thought I could own more than 2 spray cans. I met with different people who actually encouraged me, and they told me that your art form will take you places. I've managed to go to Australia, to New York, Detroit, to Berlin, Sweden, Amsterdam, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and all this is because of graffiti. At first, when I started out, I don't think my parents knew anything, or still, I don't think they know anything that has to do with graffiti. Graffiti is still very new in Africa, and I've only been practicing it for the last 10 years. And it's only recently that after I started traveling, that's when they realized that, oh, I'm traveling because of my art. And I normally have get a really hard time to explain to them what it is that I do, you know, because they just see me with a lot of spray paints, you know, but I don't know if they understand basically the whole concept behind graffiti. But I'm glad because currently they are very supportive. Even my siblings are very supportive, and I'm glad because they see a future in whatever I'm involved in, you know. Yeah. Yep, it's done. I think it's taken me almost an hour, but I like the outcome because yeah, it's still got that rough outlook in it. Yeah, typical Bob Marley portrait. Art is very difficult. Art is very frustrating, you know. But also at the same time, I feel like art is life, and without art, I don't think we'll exist as we are doing right now. I get inspiration from traveling. I love traveling, travel a lot. Reading, I get inspiration from reading. I never thought I'd get inspiration from reading. I realized that I started buying random books, you know, just to seek more knowledge, you know, like just to seek more information, just to seek more inspiration. And I mean, there's inspiration everywhere, you know. We're planning to do a graffiti piece over here, and this is one of the, like, it's been one of my wishes for a very long time to paint on a train wagon, and I'm glad because finally it's about to come true, you know.
Today we are opening our studio, BSQ Studios. BSQ is a street art group made up of 3 graffiti artists. Swift is like a pioneer graffiti artist in Kenya. He has mentored all the 3 of us. Personally, he has mentored me from all through my art career. So we felt that when it came to the art world and the art business, for us doing graffiti as professionals, if it weren't for him and the group from Spray Music doing what they did, we wouldn't be here. So for us, it's a special thing to have him do a piece on our train.
Yeah, this is the crew, BSQ. Wow. Yeah, peace and love. Mama, mama, mama.
Such a humbling feeling. I'm glad they look at me as a role model, because it's also been tough on my side, you know, like just working on my skill and making sure that I get to a point where I also pass my skill to the next generation. It feels really great, you know.
Thank you.
When I first visited Swift's place, the first thing I felt was like the creative energy there was strong. I think it's because of this is a space where he works from. So for me it was like visiting a shrine of sorts, an art shrine. Swift's home has that artistic home feeling. I haven't had that kind of feeling from any other home I've visited before. So I think it comes with all the artworks that are inside there, the energy, because the home reflects the soul of that person. You can't have a happy home if not a happy soul. So I think you can connect with his soul when you walk into his home.
I feel like this is one of the most inspiring things that normally happens to me whenever I teach someone something new. I also get to learn something new from them, because probably there's something they know that I don't know, and I normally say that each one teach one, and this is one of the philosophies that I live by basically.